Developing social connections actually helps us to endure adversity. And third, says Solomon, people are protected against the predations of other human beings even. He says a lone man, here comes a mugger, and if he catches you by surprise, or if he's just bigger and stronger than you or whatever, he'll take your wallet and run off with it. But if there's two of you, he probably won't mess with you in the first place, right? And if there's three, oh man, even better if there's three. A cord of 3 strands is not easy to break. Theologians over the centuries have noted that it is small groups of close, committed Christian friends who are the greatest danger to tyrants. Why is that? Because one man might be intimidated into sitting down and shutting up. 2, less likely. A group of 3 men, it's not who are seriously committed to a certain course, not easy to dissuade them. A cord of 3 is not easily broken. And thirdly, people can learn from one another. Verse 13, Solomon says, better was a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who no longer knew how to take advice. For he went from prison to the throne, though in his own kingdom he had been poor. So Solomon's thinking of a poor but wise youth who is capable of learning from other people, and therefore he's able to move up and advance himself. He went from poverty to ruling as king. And this youth, says Solomon, is better than the old and foolish king who has become rigid and inflexible and unteachable and arrogant in his old age. Human beings can, in fact, learn from one another, and Solomon notes this, and we know this. Part of the social capital that exists in communities is information. Have you ever thought about this? Part of the benefit of you belonging to some kind of social group, may I just say a church, for example, on a very practical level, is that there are people in that church who can help you learn things that you would not be able to learn on your own. Now, we've lost sight of this in the age of YouTube, because you can look up things on YouTube and you can think that you're learning something. But far better is to actually sit down with another human being and learn something. There are people in this church who can help me understand more about craftsmanship and creative work and building things. There are people in this church who can help me understand empathy and listening and counseling people better. There are people in this church who can help me understand economics and finance and investing better than I can. There's actual social capital in this community in the form of information and learning. And if I have the wisdom, if I have the humility to learn from other people, then I can actually grow quite a bit. Yes? The problem is, of course, not everybody can do this, young or old. Have you ever seen a young person who comes into a new job and they come in with all the ideas? And you're like, that's really pretty off-putting, right? You young folks, let me give you a job tip here. Don't show up at a new job and start handing out ideas. You'll just look like a fool. They might even be good ideas. That's not even the point. The point is that you're supposed to be there to learn. And people who have been doing something for 10, 20, 30, 50 years longer than you've been doing it, they probably have already thought of what you've thought of. Right? Now, I'm picking on young people. There's a lot of old people who never learn that lesson. There are a lot of older people who cannot listen to somebody else. If I'm willing to actually listen to other people, listen to them, I can grow quite a bit. There's value, right? There's a great deal of value in the human beings that surround you if you foster genuine connection with them. And Solomon notes that well. There's value there.